Ladies and gentlemen, the Pies get up in Thursday night footy against the Blues, our arch nemesis, and we get to go into this weekend and just relax. 3-1. Go against Sydney next week, a gather round. Then Brisbane. The games don't get any easier, but we're going to celebrate these games right now, or these players right now, via the player ratings. And we're going to start with one of the more interesting performances from the game last night, and that is Brody Myercheck. He had 10 touches, 2 contested marks, 2 intercept marks, and 5 shots on goal with an expected score of 15 points. So 2 goals, 3 was his expected return based on the difficulty of the shots. He registered no goals for the game. 5 shots, 3 behinds, 2 that did not register. He had that Neely game that Dan McStay had against Footscray. Maybe even more opportunity considering it was 5 shots. Can't remember how many shots McStay had, but certainly Myercheck had his opportunities. So he had the yips a little bit, and you miss your first, and I guess that sort of festers into your game, into your psyche for the rest of the game, and he was never really able to overcome those demons. But he was really active and was always presenting, and even when the ball was going long into our 50, he was always looking to stay on the move and provide an option, and that's why he was the beneficiary and was able to get these opportunities on at goal because he was making these initial movements. So, because it's a Neely game, I can't give him like a 7 or an 8. Where if he kicked 2 goals, we're having a different conversation. 2 of those 5 shots, I'm probably just going to give him a 6.5 right now. So I'll leave that one. I wonder if you guys agree with me in the comment section. Next up is Isaac Quaynor. He had 5 touches for the game, and that's about it. 1 intercept mark, which was late in the game. You know, it's... Yeah, this one's a tough one to assess. I guess the ball, I just don't feel like the ball is around him much, and we also don't search for Isaac Quaynor to be on the ball. So if the ball's not coming to you defensively and the ball's not coming to you offensively, you're probably going to have these kind of games in the books. He didn't do anything wrong. I felt like at being at the ground, his pressure at ground level was great. So while he didn't have the ball in his hands much, I felt like his pressure that he was able to apply within the contest, and that was a constant theme of our game, the ability to apply the pressure. I'm not sure what our tackle count is. I don't know what our pressure factor was, but it felt high at the game. So I reckon Quaynor gets a 6.5 for this one. He'll probably be, for someone who gets 5 touches, I think 6.5 is quite generous. The next one, we got Bobby Hill, who only had 1 more disposal than Isaac Quaynor, and he's been a little bit down this year so far. I felt like he wasn't quite around it last night. Did he end up snagging one? No snags, 2 behinds, 1 goal assist, 4 score involvements, 4 tackles. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't good. I don't know. This one's probably in his contract, or in a year where he could potentially be going elsewhere. You'd think he'd like to be putting up more numbers, but whatever it is for the betterment of the team, whatever he's doing for the side right now, it's just unusual. I'm seeing him rolling up to a lot of the stoppages as well. So he has an opportunity to make some impact within those stoppages. Is he moving around and staying active in those stoppages enough? I don't know. But maybe, yeah, he should be able to take advantage of that situation. But unfortunately, he just hasn't been able to do that. Whereas Lachie Schultz, who is doing quite the opposite. I mean, in the sense that he's in the stoppages and he's finding the footy, and he's becoming everything we wanted the man to become. But we'll get to him a little bit later. So I think Bobby Hill, I'm going to have to give him I'm going to give Bobby a 4 out of 10. Next up, we have Jeremy Howe. He was just sound, safe as houses, had 2 intercept marks, 10 touches. The defense looked and seemed very organised, and there's 2 parts to that. It's what we've been able to do forward to centre, allowing our defense to set up, and then the communication when the ball is in dispute in the air. We don't have 3-4 players jumping at it like we had last year. That was so frustrating last year. But now, I feel like I don't know. It's such a simple fix, and it seems like we've put some time into it. Who goes up, who stays down, who's going behind, who's front and centre. That's what I like to see. And I thought his ball use was good. 9 kicks, 1 handball. I reckon we give Jeremy Howe 6.5 out of 10. I can't give him any. Maybe a 7. Maybe a 7. I'll give him a 7. We've got Jamie Elliott, who also had sort of a bit of a quiet night to a certain extent. 9 touches, 5 contested possessions, and no goals. 1 shot on target, but did not register. So 7 tackles, though. That's pretty huge. And some people might not realise that Jamie Elliott, even though he's, I guess, revered for his ability in the air and his clutch goal kicking, he's a very good pressure player. Very good pressure player, especially at his age with the injuries he's had to overcome. He does provide his hand there more than what many might think. 7 tackles and 27 pressure acts, which is a ginormous number. It might even be one of the highest in the game. And I dare say, just forecasting ahead, I think maybe Lockie Schultz has more than that. But yeah, 27 pressure acts, 7 tackles. It's 2 goal assists. I think I can give, without kicking goals, I think I can give Jamie Elliott a 6.5 there. Next up, we have Darcy Cameron. Mate, watching him at the game, I was concerned about the matchup between TDK and Darcy Cameron. And fortunately, I didn't really notice TDK. And I'll be honest with you, as I'm going through this right now, I like to sort of consume and read into the stats as we're doing this. Rather than me coming into this knowing the stats, I'd rather use my eyes and think about what I saw and how I felt throughout that game rather than looking at the numbers, because sometimes that can skew the judgment you give. So I'm very mindful of that. But without looking at TDK's numbers, and now with Darcy Cameron's numbers in front of me, I get to sort of put the whole story together. So let's have a look. 22 touches, 16 kicks, 11 contested possessions, 6 intercept possessions, 5 intercept marks. Get out of here, man. Like, you know what? When I was watching him at the game, whenever the ball was in the air in the back line and I saw Darcy Cameron around the mark, I was like, all good. He's just going to swallow it up. And everybody gets out of his way as well, like from our side. So it's such a great peace of mind to have when you got Darcy Cameron in the back line, in our back half, being able to do that. Like, that's huge. Huge. 2 score involvements, 5 tackles, 16 pressure acts, 33 hitouts. That's a pretty bloody good game, and I think that warrants an 8.5 out of 10 for DC. That was unbelievable. What a man. Josh Dacos probably had his best game for the year. Oh, sorry. Let's readjust that. There we go. That will do. Josh Dacos, 31 touches, 75% disposal efficiency. What else did we see? 16 handball received. So that's a good sign to see that we're getting the ball moving. Players on the mark are looking to feed the likes of Josh Dacos. 6 clearances. Oh no, that's never mind. That's Josh Dacos. Darcy Cameron, sorry. 4 score involvements, which is okay. It's okay. Really just played as a connector in the early sequences of our build-up. So that's sort of the role that we're asking for from Josh Dacos. And then Dan Houston, his dance partner, does a lot of damage himself. So 31 touches, his best game for the year. I think it's a lot of touches. It's a lot of impact in the game. I'll probably give Josh Dacos, don't know if I can give him an 8. I reckon a 7.5. Is that a bit harsh? Let me know. Ned Long came on as a sub in the 4th quarter. Came on, just got to work straight away. Check side goal. fly implies that in the post game press up, he's not going to be sub next time we play. Maybe somebody gets rested. We'll see that. We can dive into that conversation as the week goes on. But I'm gonna give. I will give Ned Long a 6.5. Just I usually don't give the sub the rating, but just because he was able to have an impact within that quarter, I have to give him some sort of rating. And that's just me, just to come into a game and after being sub in back-to-back weeks, I think he deserves a rating. And rather than just glossing over him, I just wanted to give him a minute or two and say, like, wow, this guy is mentally where he's at. He seems like he's in a good spot. He's persevering through selection and wherever he needs to do the job, whether it's coming on as a sub or starting like he did against Port Adelaide. He seems like he's ready for any task that is thrown at him. Next up, Dan McStay. Again, without looking at the numbers, he wasn't prominent, I would say, watching him. He had moments. He spent 20% of his time in the ruck. I thought he competed well against Tom De Koning and whoever their backup ruckman may have been. Maybe it was Lewis Young. 3 scorer involvements. Did he have any shots? He had 1 shot on target, no goals, and that was quite a difficult shot from some way away. I'm pretty sure it would have been just on the 50-meter mark, I believe, on a slight angle. So I'll give Dan McStay a 6. I can't. 7 tackles though. Like wait. I need to check these tackling numbers because I'm seeing 7s and 6s from players who you don't expect that many tackles from. 85 tackles to 69. Wow. Mind you, Carlton were the number 1 tackling side in the comp going into this game. I think they were averaging like some ridiculous number, 80 tackles a game or something. And we definitely showed them that this is the pressure. We are the pressure. So, okay. Dan McStay, 7 tackles. I see you. Let's give Dan McStay a 6.5. Moving on to Bugsy Bo McCreary. What do you have? 7 touches, 1 inside 50, 4 contested possessions. Okay. Very quiet. No shots on goal. 6 tackles though. Just give him a 6.5. Plays his role. What else can you say? Patrick Lipinski. I felt like the game was largely played on Lipinski's wing, if I'm being honest. He had 20 touches, 4 inside 50s. Had some really nice looks going inside 50 as well from memory. 3 stoppage clearances. Had 2 shots on goal, did he? Okay. 7 score involvements, which is a nice little number there. And then 2 tackles. And yeah, a good game. I think I'm going to give Patrick Lipinski a 7 there. And Tim Membry, 12 touches. Kicked that important goal early in the third, I think, to really get us going. He had 2 shots on target. And then we sort of really rallied from there. Nick Dacos had that incredible centre bounce clearance where he sort of he balked someone, sold candy, and just got the ball rolling. Gave it to Pendles. Pendles finds someone inside 50. I forget who it is. Maybe it was DeGoey, but anyhow, the story, you know how the rest of the story goes from last night. So, yeah, really pleasing there from Tim Membry. Yeah, it doesn't have massive impact in the game, but when he finds himself around a contest or with the ball, he always seems to do the right things. And he had 12 touches, so while there might be games where he's invisible sometimes, according to what you see on the TV, he's always doing work somewhere, but he certainly wasn't invisible last night. 12 touches. So I'd probably give Tim Membry a 7. Let's go Scott Pendlebury. 29 touches. So the bloody buggers at Champion Data took the 30th disposal away from him. He hasn't accrued or accumulated 30 disposals since probably this time last year. He nearly did that again. He's timeless, man. He's just timeless. He had 10 touches in that first quarter alone. 10 contested possessions. Played 60% of his time in the midfield. Actually started in the forward line in the first centre bounce. So a bit of his time was spent there. What was his time on ground? That would probably be interesting. 76%, which would probably be one of the lowest. barring the sub, right? But that's just exactly, it's just management of your Ferrari, this guy here. What else? 7 score involvements, another 7 tackles, mate. Some astronomical numbers with our pressure. And that's what it felt like at the game. It felt like Carlton just couldn't breathe around us. Just as they were about to get off the leash from half back, you just saw someone claw Adam Sard or Zach Williams or Doherty from whoever it was from behind. It was inevitable. We'll give Pendlebury an 8.5 out of 10. Come on. You can't give him anything less. He was unbelievable. Jack Crisp was really good as well. I thought he was really impressive. He's starting to take some strong marks on the wing from our build-up as well. When we have kick-ins, I've started to notice. 22 touches, 9 contested possessions, 8 ground ball gets, 6 marks, 2 stoppage clearances. Just a really sound game. Just the 1 tackle. And that probably talks to the fact that the game wasn't really played. I mean, he's a winger, and Lipinski only had 2 tackles. So I was about to make the case that the game was played more on Lipinski's side. Therefore, Chris didn't really have an opportunity to lay a tackle. There probably is some truth to that, but he is ultimately a winger and has the most space around him. Sometimes doesn't see the contest for quite some time if the ball is on the opposing wing. Let's give Jack Crisp a solid 7 out of 10. Next up, Nick Dacos. 27 touches, 13 contested possessions, 90% midfield time. Didn't score. He had a behind early in that first quarter. 1 goal assist, 4 score involvements, 4 tackles. Laid a massive tackle on Paddy Cripps, didn't he? He was good. And I think when you can just say after a game, like, he had moments, certainly. He was great, but he wasn't like, he didn't need to be dominant. He hasn't needed to be dominant in the games we've won so far. And I like that. I like that we're not overly dependent on him. I remember this time, maybe not this time last year, but in the weeks where we were depleted with our squad, when Pendlebury was out, DeGoey was out, I just remember how dependent we were on him. And naturally, when these players come back in and they're available like they are now, all of a sudden we're not too dependent on Nick Dacos anymore, which is good. So I like this. When we need Nick Dacos, the GOAT, to come out, he will come out. But for now, we just need balanced input. Everyone has to have some sort of imprint into the game. So I'm happy with where Nick Dacos is at. And even despite all saying that, it's a 27 disposal game, 13 contested possessions, 6 clearances. It's still a bloody good game. Therefore, I'll give Nick Dacos an 8 out of 10. Billy's back. Billy Frampton is back. Hey, I'll put my hand up. I've said some things. I'm happy that he is performing. I want whoever graces the field wearing the black and white, I want them to do well. I said, Billy Frampton, Charlie Dean, if they're in our side 4 weeks ago, we can't win a flag. I don't know where I stand with that just yet, but I'm very happy with Billy Frampton's performance. And if he plays like this every week, then we will have no dramas. 7 intercept possessions, 2 contested marks, kept Charlie Curnow pretty quiet. We as a team kept their dangerous forward in Curnow relatively quiet because we were so good in our front half. We owned territory. I think we probably had the ball in our forward half for 70% of the game. Billy Frampton, relative to his own standard, I'm giving him an 8.5. Good man. Harry Perriman was good as well. 20 touches, 8 contested possessions. Found some more midfield time this week, 56% midfield time. Had 2 shots on goal. Had that sort of mongrel of a kick out of the contest, a stoppage contest, where Carlton have been struggling in their D50, conceding from stoppages. So that's a watch this space for them, for anyone who really cares. Probably not us. But yeah, Perriman gets his first goal. Was definitely his best game in my opinion. 6 score involvements, 8 tackles, 26 pressure acts. It's what we got him for. It's exactly what we got him for, and I'm going to give Perryman an 8 out of 10. Moving on, we have Darcy Moore. 17 touches, 5 inside 50s, had a shot on target, and how many intercept marks? Just the 2 intercept marks, but I thought the real highlight of his game from last night was his ability to spoil effectively. Clear the boundary, clear it from dangerous space, not a soft drop. And usually I'm critical of Darcy Moore spoiling the ball rather than attempting to mark it. But I felt like in the contest where he was able to impact the aerial duel, he made the best decision, and that decision needed to be a spoil. So Darcy Moore just keeps on building on where he was, or building towards where he was in 2023 and 2022. So I'm going to give Darcy an 8 out of 10. And the numbers might not point towards that, but I saw what I saw. Lachie Schultz, man. What we were asking for him to give, that little bit extra last year, he's giving that and more this year. And that's all we wanted from him. We know we were so critical of him, and we had a high standard for him because we know what he's capable of, and now we're seeing that. And his preseason didn't lie, because the proof is in the pudding now. 18 touches, 7 contested possessions, 1 contested mark, 4 shots on target, 2 goals, 1 behind, 1 no register, 1 goal assist, 9 score involvements, and 7 tackles, 31 pressure acts, a team high. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. 17 touches as a small forward, rolling to stoppages and doing his thing like that. 2 clearances in the stoppages. This is what we're hoping Bo McCreary can be as a high half forward, but we're not seeing that just yet. But that's okay. 9 out of 10, Lachie Schultz. Geordie to go. He just 8 touches, but came through in clutch moments when needed. He's just building his way back into things. I'm not stressed. I'm pretty happy with the way he's going about things. 40% midfield time. You'd like more touches, but he's been out for that long. You give him a mulligan for a little bit longer, but what matters the most is he had 2 shots on target, and he kicked them both, and they were both in critical moments. So that's why I think I can still give Jordan De Goey a 7, because he was critical in the moments that we needed him in the game. Braden Maynard just continues to add the dollar ticker just going up on his contract right now. It's a funny one, isn't it? 16 touches, kicked a goal, 9 contested possessions, and just looking sound. Looking like he wants to be an All-Australian this year. So good for him, man. Good for him. Yeah. We'll talk about more about him throughout the week. We've got some conversations around the great man, but he was outstanding last night. Let's give Braden Maynard a 7.5 out of 10. A modest 7.5 out of 10. Maybe I could give him an 8 intercept possessions. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 for 8 intercept possessions. Last 2, Dan Houston, 16 touches. He's a little seagull for when we have a mark just outside 50. He's always looking for a way to get his hands onto it. So you're going to see plenty more of that. But Carlton, we're pretty switched on to that, and I imagine most sides will be. So that'd be any side would be spewing if Dan Houston gets a handball received from a mark just outside 50. 16 touches, probably going to spend some time on the sidelines. That bump didn't look good. He had 7 intercept possessions, 1 intercept mark. Just so defensively sound. 5 score involvements, which is huge for a halfback flanker. I'll give Dan Houston just I reckon 23 touches. I think I said 16 touches before. That was Bruzzy, but 23 was Dan Houston. I think I'll give Dan Houston an 8 out of 10. I just thought he was sound all across the park. And lastly, Rusty, steel side bottom, 24 touches, 13 contested possessions. I don't know, he's just got his confidence back. That's what it comes down to. His confidence in his game. He couldn't hit a target last year. He couldn't pick up a ground ball cleanly last year. He's just defying everything that was suggesting last year that he was done. 5 intercept possessions, 33% midfield time, 7 clearances, no goals. We didn't need any goals from him last night. 4 score involvements, 7 tackles, 23 pressure acts. It's another. That's another 8 out of 10 for me. I can't give the man anything less. When I see him on the ball, I just don't see him doing anything wrong. So that is the player ratings, guys. I'm not sure if I'm far off the mark here. I just go with the feel of what I saw at the game, and I try to let the numbers paint a little bit of the picture, but that's where I'm at with all that. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and we can talk further there. Go Pies.